Fuck the Atlas.
How we all doing? Finally back into the Vikla project. Oh, I want to know if I needed to weld these holes up. So I finally ordered these suckers. Hats off to the people I ordered them through. There was a problem with the supplier, which is out of their hands. But they did at least contact me, keep me in the loop, and sort the whole issue out. I got the lights. I wasn't in no rush, so it's all good. Thank you very much, Parts Outlet. So I finally got these, and I wanted to know about these two holes right here. Now I don't want them there. I want to figure out what I can do with these cables. As you can see, bit ugly, really ugly. When you sit them on properly, I do have the bolts, but just not in at the moment. You can see past, you can see those bits. I'm not making a showpiece, but at the same time, it's kind of ugly having these cables dangling down like that. It's pretty shit. What I was thinking of doing was rerouting the wires through this, drilling some holes where needed, putting in some studs but with holes in it, and running the wires out of those studs. The problem is the angle are like this, which means you're not going to be able to get them into the holes. So my next thought was to just run them out through the holes, drill out the bolts, which is why they're not here, they're being drilled out at the moment, and go that way. Now, I'm actually doing this video out of order. I've already pulled these things apart and done all the modifications, then put it back together to make it look like I'm doing shit in order. Hence why there's fingerprints everywhere. It's all covered in love and whatnot. But that's done. Let's continue on to the next part of the video, and I'll show you what I've done to make this happen. Pretty happy with it so far. That said, before we get to that part of the video, I will point out that once I've done that, I'm going to be able to cap these suckers off, reprimer it, but I'm not going to paint this anytime soon because we've just hit winter. It's not so warm out in the shed, and I really don't like painting when it's not warm. So unfortunately that may still be a little whiles off, or maybe I'll pull my finger out of my ass, set up my little gas heater and get a bit of warmth in here. But generally I prefer it to be warm, you know what I mean. Anyways, let's get on to the next bit. So I've come up with a game plan. What I'm going to do is, if I can find something to point with, here we go. So the plan is to drill the hole through here, run the wires around this bolt out there, which will make it here. Now I've got to somehow intersect this point to here. Problem is that's on that angle, I'm coming in here. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can make this hole deeper, get this one to intersect that hole, and that hole already, not that you can see if I can get the thing in there, intersects this just ever so slightly right there. So I might be able to, you know, route the wires in a bit of a Z shape and out through these holes. I said be concerned about having to drill this out big enough for the wires and compromising the integrity of the bolt, but I'm using some of this wire, which is quite thin, and it's very special wire. It's military spec wire, and although it's really thin, it's very robust. The shielding is very strong, and it's actually capable of handling regular power. If I compare it to, let's compare the pair. As you can see, there's a vast difference, whereas this can handle almost as much power as that. Only running indicators, that is more than sufficient. These indicators will probably draw less than 2 amps each, so that will be suffice. Let's give it a smack. Let's give it a go. This one doesn't, there we go. Look at that. It's like magic. Through she goes. So I'm going to have to do is upside down this chain. That way, so once it's in, feed the wires through the hole in the bolt, bolt it up, and then put the plug on. I'll be able to terminate the wires. I'm going to use Deutsch pins, which are quite small. Let me just show you those. You can see these are quite small. They don't need to go through a large hole. Should be able to feed them through. It does mean that obviously if I want to take this off, I have to determinate the plug, but these are really easy to depin, very easy. So my mate Doug has laid up a few bolts for me, got a bit of a hole in there. So the plan is I'll put the terminations on there, they will fit through this hole, I just haven't done them yet. Mount them on, poke the wires through the holes, feed the bolts up, and on she goes. That will work. A little bit of dicking around, but in there, I guess there's really not much else for me to do to achieve what I'm after. Once these are in, I'll finish them off, I think, with a bit of braiding here, just to make it look nice. Bingo boingo. I'll wire these up later. I just really wanted to know that this would work on the guard before I welded up those holes, which I've done. I was just about to drill holes for the tail light, but as per the previous video, I won't be using that tail light. So I'm going to now source me the correct tail light, drill those last holes, re-prep the bits that I've done, which is ready for paint. Anyways, that'll do for this video. See you next Tuesday. Yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy with that.
I would be too.
Excellent, because I just don't want to see those wires. They look fucking shite.
Yeah.